Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're going to take a Python application from just a few lines of code all the way to a live website on the internet, and we're going to do it using Microsoft Azure. This is a very hands-on step-by-step guide, so let's just jump right in.
All right, let's get into it. The whole goal here is to show you the real power of what's called Platform as a Service, or PaaS. You know, instead of you having to worry about setting up virtual machines, configuring networks, or patching servers, that's the old infrastructure as a service model. PaaS lets us focus completely on our code. Azure handles all that complicated backend stuff. So let's see just how fast we can get this app live.
So where do we start? Well, everything we're about to do happens inside the Azure Cloud Shell. Think of this as a command line that lives right inside your web browser. The best part? There's absolutely nothing to install on your own computer. All the tools you need, like Git and the Azure command line, are already there, configured, and ready to go. It saves a ton of setup time.
First things first, we need some code to deploy, right? So we're just going to grab a really simple Hello World application. It's written in Flask, which is a popular Python web framework, and we'll pull it straight from GitHub into our Cloud Shell.
Now, this is a really key point. This command is not running on your laptop. Not at all. You're actually telling Azure's computers to download this code onto their storage, which you're just accessing through your browser. It creates this perfect, self-contained little bubble for us to work in.
Okay, so we've got the code. Can we just, throw it on the internet? Not quite. We need to build a little foundation for it to live on. This just means setting up two core Azure resources that are going to support our application.
First up, the resource group. Honestly, the best way to think about this is just like a digital folder for your entire project. Everything we're about to create, our web app, our hosting plan, you name it, it all goes in here. It keeps things super organized and makes cleaning up later a breeze.
And look how simple it is to create one. It's just this one line. We're using the Azure command line, telling it to create a group. We give it a name. You can see it right there, My Resource Group, and we tell it where we want it to live, in this case, the East US Data Center region. And that's it. Done.
Next, we need what's called an app service plan. Now, this is where we decide how much muscle our app is going to have. Are we running this on a big, powerful server or a small, free one? This plan sets the computer power and, of course, the price. For this demo, we're definitely going with the free tier.
And just like before, it's a single command. We give our plan a name, we tell it which resource group it belongs to, and then we specify the pricing tier, or SKU, as free. With that, our foundation is officially built.
All right, foundation set. Now for the main event, creating the actual web app resource. This is the thing that the public sees, the part that will host our code and be accessible to the whole world.
This is it. This is the moment our little app gets its own real address on the internet. This one command sets up a dedicated space on Azure's web servers. It configures it to run Python, and it generates that super important public URL.
So let's just quickly break this command down. See how we're tying it to the resource group and the plan we just created? Everything's connected. Then we give it a name that has to be totally unique across all of Azure because that becomes part of its URL. And finally, the really important part, we specify the runtime, telling Azure, hey, this is a Python app and I need version 3.9.
The hosting environment is now live. It's up and it's just waiting for our code. And this brings us to the most powerful part of a PaaS workflow. We're going to deploy our entire application using a simple Git command that developers already use every single day.
And check out how elegant this is. It really boils down to just 3 simple steps. We'll tell our Azure app to get ready for a Git deployment, we'll connect our code repository to our Azure app, and then we'll just push the code.
Okay, step 1. This is a one-time thing. We're basically telling our Azure web app, hey, get ready, I'm going to send you some code using Git. In response, Azure gives us back this special, unique Git URL. That's our target.
Now we're back in our Cloud Shell, and it all comes down to these last 2 commands. First, we add that URL from Azure as a new remote destination, and we'll just call it Azure. Then, we run git push Azure master. That single push is all it takes. It securely sends our code up, and Azure automatically kicks off the entire build and deploy process for us.
And that's it. Seriously, the push finishes, you can navigate to your app's unique URL, and bam, your Python Hello World application is live on the internet. It is an incredibly smooth process.
A static site is great, but what about making changes? I mean, that's the real world, right? We're always iterating. The true power of a good deployment workflow is how easily you can update your live app. So let's see how simple it is.
Back in the Cloud Shell, we'll make a tiny change to the main.py file.
We're just going to edit the message it sends back from "Hello World" to something new, just to simulate a quick code update.
So what's the super secret complicated command to deploy this change? Well, here's the best part. There isn't one. It is the exact same workflow developers already know and love. You add the change, you commit it with a message, and you push it to the Azure remote. No new tools, nothing new to learn.
The moment that push command completes, Azure's platform sees the new code, automatically rebuilds the application, and deploys the updated version, completely seamlessly. If you go refresh your browser, you'll see the change is live instantly.
To really put this all in perspective, what you've just seen is a true platform-as-a-service experience. Remember how with a tool like OpenStack, our focus would have been on creating virtual machines? Well, notice that we never once talked about the underlying server. We never worried about the operating system. Our focus was 100% on our application code.
And that is the key takeaway here. By taking away all the complexity of managing servers, this kind of pause workflow completely frees you up. It shifts your time and energy away from maintaining infrastructure and toward what really matters: innovating, creating, and building whatever you dream up next.